guys, what's going on? James here. And before the start of this video, I wanted to say shout out for Rocco for getting that master's degree. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. That's freaking awesome. And also, I wanted to say shout out to Tom Travis on Twitter for keeping me up to date on some of the Bucs moves while I'm at work. He was actually the one who filled me in on this most recent Bucs move of the Bucs waiving Stevie T while I was at work. I was at work at Publix, and I checked Twitter on my break, and I saw that, oh, I got a message from Tom Travis, and he was like, did you see the Bucs release Stevie T? And I was like, what? They did? So I came home and made a video about it. So yeah, shout out to Tom Travis for keeping me filled in. If you guys want to message me, you can message me on Twitter, on Facebook, or on Instagram. All that's down in the description below. And you can always talk to me in the comments section as well. And just, I appreciate talking to you guys. It's a lot of fun. And also, shout out to Rocco for getting that master's degree. That's really freaking cool. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy the video. Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and well, I already got one of my roster predictions wrong. So in today's video, we are talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers waiving Stevie T and signing Drew Iddings as his replacement at the defensive tackle position. Now, the first thing that I want to explain is why Stevie T was released, or waived is what they're calling it. So if he clears waivers, he could re-sign with the team at some point later on down the line. But specifically what his waiving or his release was designated as a waived-injured type move. So what this means is that if Stevie goes through the waivers, so every team will get a chance to sign Stevie, and if he goes through all the waivers and no team wants to sign him, then he will revert to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers injured reserve for the second season in a row, which is really unfortunate, really, because this is the same thing that happened last year. The Buccaneers put Stevie T on the injured reserve, and he spent the whole season on the injured reserve. Ren from the Purecast called it like a red shirting, as in a way, but now it looks like it might happen again after he's only played in one preseason game, which is, it's very unfortunate, because I thought a lot of people were thinking that, okay, Stevie T, things are looking up for him this year. He definitely had the size, 6'1", 331 pounds, the former 7th round draft pick. He spent his first 2 seasons in the league on the injured reserve. That's not good for anybody, and it's really unfortunate because it really looked like he was starting to come into his own as a run stopper and really help create opportunities for the pass rush, especially for the second and third stringers. It looked like he was kind of starting to find his groove. So the fact now that he's had an injury, which honestly I didn't know about and I didn't hear anybody else knowing about it either, so he comes down with this injury, and now, the Buccaneers, they were kind of already dealing with a lot of injuries, so I imagine they didn't want to deal with more, so they say, okay, Stevie, we're gonna, I imagine they waive him and with an injured designation, and if he gets through, then we get to keep him and try again next year possibly, which is cool and all. It's just really unfortunate because I really think that if he would have been able to stay healthy, he really could have been able to contribute more. Now, he might be able to come back later because you are allowed to designate players to return from injury later on down the line. I think you have to do that ahead of time, though, so I don't know. I don't know how that rule works. But we could possibly see him return mid-season, but it's unlikely. It looks like his season's over, at least with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He might end up on another team, and they might wait out this injury. I don't think it's a significant injury. I think it's just a matter of, yes, he's injured, but we gotta get more guys in here. We don't have time to sit around with many types of injuries like this anymore. We've got to start getting going because we're getting into a period now where it's like players have to start proving whether or not they belong on this roster or not. So this injury just came at a very unfortunate time, and the Buccaneers don't really have a lot of time to wait around to see, like, okay, well, if he's going to be fine, will he still be a good depth option for us? You have to move. It's the NFL, man. Stuff's always moving. So Stevie just kind of has gotten lost in the shuffle now due to a very unfortunately timed injury. It is possible that another team will sign him. It didn't happen last year, but I think this year it might be a little bit more likely, considering how, like I said, he was improving a little bit. He looked like he was really starting to improve as a run stopper, and just his overall play and his footwork and whatnot. He looked a lot better this year, so it's very unfortunate. But let's talk about his replacement real quick in Drew Iddings. And Drew Iddings was an undrafted free agent in 2016. He then joined the Oakland Raiders. He was cut by them. He went to the New Orleans Saints, played for them a little bit, was waived, and then signed with the Carolina Panthers, but then reverted to their injured reserve. So he's kind of had the same story, kind of like Stevie T. But one of the more interesting things about Drew Whittings, and there was an article I read about this from, I can't remember it was like the Charlotte Observer. Okay, the Charlotte Observer wrote an article about this, and they said like Drew Whittings, one big thing is that he's very athletic, and they named some stuff in this article, and I'm going to put this down right now. So, as a senior for South Dakota High School, where he is from, he's from South Dakota, he had 2 blocked passes, 2 blocked punts, and a blocked field goal. That's pretty impressive considering, you know, the guy's a defensive lineman, and he was a 2-time high jump state champion for South Dakota, which, okay, the guy can jump really high, and he can block all types of everything, so that's very impressive, right? He's very athletic. How athletic is he? Well, at the combine, he actually was able to participate in the 40-yard dash. He ended up running a 4.7 40-yard dash for a defensive tackle. That's pretty darn good. I don't know his exact weight. I'm looking at it right now. He's 6'5", 290 pounds as of the writing of the Charlotte Observer's article, which was in 2017 of last year. So 1 year ago, he was 6'5", 290 pounds, and he ran a 4.7 40-yard dash. Oh my gosh, that's really freaking fast. So I think if he's able to refine his skills as a pass rusher and actually get some moves in his repertoire, maybe work with Gerald McCoy, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, the dude definitely has the athleticism to be a scary defensive lineman. I think he just has to put it together technique-wise, and then we might have something, you know, who knows? And he also has to stay healthy, you know, him and Stevie T. I need both these guys to stay healthy, because it seems like they could be very solid depth moving forward, if not for the Bucs and for some team. So yeah, it seems like the Buccaneers actually got a pretty nice signing in in Drew Whittings. You could definitely do worse. The guy's very athletic, so I'm very impressed by that. But moving forward, I thought the Buccaneers were going to carry 5 defensive tackles. You know, I thought that they were going to go with Gerald McCoy, Vita Vea, Bo Allen, Mitch Unrein, and Stevie Tuipulotu. So now what happens? Well, geez, looking forward, you know, if they do decide to carry 5 defensive tackles, who takes that 5th defensive tackle spot? Or even, they might not even carry 5 defensive tackles. But if they do, let's talk about two of the main options right now who could take over that 5th roster spot for the defensive tackle position. Well, the first guy I just mentioned is Drew Whittings. He's definitely an option. Like I said, insanely athletic. I don't think he's very raw, you know, raw athleticism, and he's definitely still has some stuff to work on technique-wise, considering how he hasn't had a whole lot of time to stay with a single system and learn a whole lot, considering how he's jumped from 3 teams since he's joined the league, and he's even been on the injured reserve for one of those teams. So, you know, he hasn't had a whole lot of practice time to sit down, and because he's been hurt and whatnot, and he's also had to worry about jumping around and finding a job. So, you know, he hasn't had a lot of time to sit down and say, okay, here's how you become a very good defensive tackle. Here's what you have to do. So hopefully, if he stays on the roster, maybe he could start molding into something. They start using that raw athleticism in a more refined way and actually start transforming them into something. Having Gerald McCoy on your defensive line definitely doesn't hurt anything. You also have some very experienced veterans in Mitch Unrein and Bo Allen, so you could have a lot. You know, this is one of the better groups, I guess I should say, to learn from if you're just a new defensive tackle and you need to start learning some stuff. You have a very good group of mentors surrounding you, and you have Brentson Buckner, so it's a very good learning situation right now that Drew Whittings is in. So he's an option. The second option, this guy's freaking chances of making the roster just bumped up considerably. Devante Lambert. I talked about him in my latest video of the preseason week 1 review. I was very impressed because he himself had a batted down pass, and now he's looking to be in a situation where he has a decent chance of making this roster now. Before, I wasn't sure about him making the roster. I was impressed by him in preseason week 1, but I didn't think anything would happen because Stevie T was there. Well, now Stevie T is not there, so his main competition is Drew Whittings, which, yes, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by Drew Whittings. Who knows? But Devante Lambert has the experience. He's been in the system more. He's more of a polished defensive tackle. He might not have as much raw athleticism as Drew Whittings, but honestly, there's a handful of players who don't have Drew Whittings' raw athleticism for a defensive lineman. But Devante Lambert, he's looking like to be one of the more experienced reserved linemen. I think Greg Auman even said on Twitter, like, Devante Lambert's the only reserve lineman who has a good chunk of experience left on, in the reserve. So that's pretty valuable, That definitely bumps up his chances. I think it's likely, and not likely, but I think it's definitely possible now that Devante Lambert can make it. Honestly, I hope he does. I hope he does, because, geez, that'd be awesome. I like the guy. I like him a lot. I think he would fit well into the pass rushing defensive tackle rotation. I think he's a pretty decent player, and he can just continue to grow, man. Learn from Gerald McCoy, learn from the guys I told you that Drew Whittings can learn off of. You got to think he's the favorite if they decide to go with 5 defensive tackles. But if they don't, let's just assume they go with 4 and they kill my dreams of having Devante Lambert making the roster. They probably will. But there's always the option of, moving William Golston in a defensive tackle in some situations, moving Vinny Curry inside, moving Jason Pierre-Paul inside. And maybe that's what their thought process was, yeah, we like Stevie T Kalavatu, but there's really not that much risk in waiving him because we have a lot of options at defensive tackle. We have arguably 4 starters in McCoy, Vita Vea, Bo Allen, and Mitch Unrein. And we even have rotational defensive tackles because, you have Noah Spence, and that's huge because you can put Noah Spence at one of the defensive end positions on passing plays, and then you can move either Jason Pierre-Paul or Vinny Curry, whichever one you want to move on the inside, and then you have a scary pass rushing defensive lineup in that situation. And if you want to go more run oriented, then you have like a Bo Allen, a Mitch Unrein, or a Vita Vea, and then you move William Golston on the inside, or have William Golston on the inside for passing plays as well. You have options. So maybe that's why they thought that was a thing. Maybe they're only going to carry 4 defensive tackles and move guys like Golston, JPP, and Vinny Curry on the inside. Or maybe they carry 5 defensive tackles and go with Devante Lambert. I hope they go with Devante Lambert because I like him. He's cool. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it's a bit of a strange video. It's like, really? We're going to talk about Stevie T's being waived for 11 minutes? Well, yeah, because it was a surprise. I mean, a lot of people were impressed by him, like I said. So, let me know what you think about all this down in the comment section below. Are you surprised Stevie T got released? Are you not surprised? Do you care? Do you not care? And what do you think is going to happen with the defensive tackle position? I know this game Saturday is coming up, and I think we're going to expect to see a lot of Devante Lambert with William Golston moving in on the inside and stuff like that. But yeah, I want to hear your guys' thoughts about this. Let me know what you think about all this down in the comment section below. I guess if there's another surprising cut that the Bucs could make, who do you think that would be? So yeah, let me know all this down in the comment section below. Hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and as always, I'll see you in the next video or live stream. But until then, and as always, goodbye for now, guys. See ya, and go Bucs.